All right. What's up, everybody? It's Jimmy and Wally with TheCLTLife. Welcome back. We're in downtown Matthews this week at Brakeman's Coffee Shop. One of my favorite spots. Get a cup of coffee. There's so many good coffee spots. Usually we're in a bar or a restaurant when we do these shows, but
take a break from the beer.
Yeah, sometimes you need to get a little caffeinated.
Right.
Even though I'm drinking a decaf.
Oh, you really?
I'm a decaf guy. Yeah. So I love coffee, but I like the flavor.
Yeah.
So I'm a decaf guy. So
you can feel it when you drink it.
I can feel the caffeine when I drink it. I had years ago, the first time that ever happened to me. I remember I was out playing golf, and it was like a high 50s, low 60s day. Got up that morning, had a cup of coffee. Was driving to the golf course, had to stop and get gas. Went to a gas station, got a cup of coffee. Got to the golf course. They had free cup of coffee in the lobby, and I'm just like, I didn't need it because I needed to be alert and awake. It was just that it was there, so I drank it. And I think I didn't drink a lot of water, but still the coffee was kind of going through me.
Yeah.
And then my mother-in-law had given me a gift card to Starbucks. So I went on the way home, and there was like I got like a venti something or another. So I had so much caffeine. That night, Laura and I were sitting down to dinner, and I was like sweating and shaking, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I don't know. I didn't know what was going on." We ended up going to the ER that night, and like they eat on coffee. Yeah, and they gave me they ended up doing they did these tests and everything was fine. Then finally they gave me an IV drip. Like 5 minutes later, I felt fine.
Right, you were dehydrated. Coffee.
I was dehydrated, yeah.
Coffee definitely dehydrates. So
yeah, I still enjoy the taste. I try not to have too many cups in a day, but
good for one.
Yeah, good for one. Like we always say, everything in moderation.
For sure.
So anyway, well, hey man, we're getting ready. It's Christmas week.
Yeah. 'Tis the season.
'Tis the season, yeah. Football season's we're getting towards the end here.
We are.
Carolina Panthers just played the Pittsburgh Steelers this past week, and I know we were hoping that Carolina could run the table in the last 4 and somehow end up with a winning record and make the playoffs.
Right, and we talked about it, and I said it's possible, but not probable,
right,
that they would do it. And right off the bat, they ran up against the Steelers team that, similarly is looking for, with Kenny Pickett out, and even with Pickett, they're just still a little bit unsettled at quarterback, trying to figure out an identity at the quarterback position. And, with Mr. Trubisky in at quarterback, they definitely wanted to run the ball and play defense. And that's what they did. And they kind of just did it better than we did. And, they started off the game running Najee Harris, and they kept pounding.
And he had like 86 yards.
Right.
I think he averaged 3.6, 3.8 a carry, something like that. So it wasn't like he was breaking long carries on us, long runs on us.
No.
But they still ran for like 156. They imposed their will on the line of scrimmage, at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, they had 3 rushing touchdowns, and they set the tone from the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And so, it just, we weren't quite good enough to put together consistent offensive drive that led to points.
Yeah.
And with them controlling the ball and just playing solid D, we were playing from behind because they scored on the first possession.
Yeah.
So,
well, this offense, the way it's constructed right now, when we come out and run the ball and we ground and pound, we're not really designed to come from behind.
No.
So when we fell back, I think we were down 14-7 at the half, and we ended up falling back a little bit further than that. But if you get down more than 2 scores with that type of offense, unless you can really get some stops, but that was the issue. And then Mr. Trubisky, former number 1 overall pick, who just like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, high draft picks that haven't really panned out. He came in and started and had a solid game, not spectacular, but he was 17 out of 22, like 175 yards, no touchdown passes. They didn't turn the ball over after having 3 picks the previous week. And Deontay Johnson.
Yes.
Deontay Johnson, man, 10 catches for 98 yards. You look at that and you're like, 98 yards, that's a good game. You don't think it's huge.
Right.
He was converted like every third down. Like all his catches were big. They were like 12 out of 16 on third downs. We couldn't get off the field. That was the issue.
That's the difference in the game.
Yeah, that's the difference in the game. He was the player of the game for me on offense.
Deontay Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and our defense is good, right? And we've got a good bend but don't break beat. And so, you're counting on getting off the field on third downs and turning the other team over.
Right.
We couldn't do either to a quarterback that's turnover prone. And so, you know, when you can't get off the field on third down, it puts more pressure on the D, and you lose time of possession. You lose the time of possession battle, and you need that time to sort of get in a rhythm and get your own offense going. So, for what it's worth, we didn't give up a ton of points. You know, it was 24-16 final. The defense played pretty well. They didn't play a bad game.
You know, we really missed those, not having Dante Jackson.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, Franklin really struggled against Johnson.
Right, and for sure Jackson would have been on Johnson, you know, at least some of the game. And so even with J.C. Horn, you know, on the other side, he's still got to keep up with Pickens. You know, like it's not like the wide receivers in Pittsburgh are slouches.
Right.
They've got a good receiving core. And so no matter who's out there, we needed that second high-end corner to sort of help slow them down on those big, crucial possessions.
So let me ask you a question as a former quarterback. What do you think about J.C. Horn's cover skills? We see him out there making big plays. He's a big corner. He's a big, rangy guy. Is he a lockdown, shutdown corner? Is he someone who does better in like a zone scheme and then?
Well,
can he go man to man? Because he did pretty good against Metcalf 2 weeks ago.
I think he can man up. I think he's good. He's a good enough athlete. He's fast. He's got recovery speed. Those are the things that you look for. His ball skills are obviously really good.
His dad was a Hall of Fame probably caliber.
Yeah, well, he was a solid starter.
He's an all-pro, Pro Bowl type player.
Pro Bowl receiver with the
Saints
with a solid career, a decade-long career. So, you know, he's got the pedigree, he's got the hands, he's got the speed, and he's got the size. So, yeah, I think he can be a lockdown corner. But sometimes, you know, it's just a matter of scheme. If we don't get to the quarterback, put pressure on him, any corner is going to lose some battles in that situation because, you know, it's hard to keep up with guys who know where they're trying to go and you don't. You know what I mean? That's advantage to the offense.
And we weren't putting consistent pressure on Trubisky at all.
No, we weren't.
Again, Brian Burns, I think he had a sack.
Right.
But it wasn't disrupting the game. It wasn't disrupting the quarterback. Trubisky looked comfortable back there, getting rid of the ball.
Right.
And so that was the game. So we're not going to go we're not going to win our last 4 games in a row.
I think we still control our own destiny.
We still control our own destiny. We got Dan Campbell's Lions, who are one of the hottest teams in football coming in.
Red hot.
So, I mean, they're kind of like in our situation too. They started out 1-6 maybe, and now they're 7-7. So 1-6 to 6-1, and their only loss was on a field goal to the Buffalo Bills on Thanksgiving.
Right.
During that stretch. So, I mean, they're playing as good as anybody right now.
They've got 2 capable running backs in Swift and Williams. St. Brown outside.
I'm on St. Brown. Yeah, he's had a huge and Jared Goff is really.
Goff is playing good ball.
Yeah. You think the Rams miss Jared Goff right now?
I mean, as a you know, he would have to be a backup, but it's what it took to win a Super Bowl.
It did, yeah.
So no, I don't think they miss Jared Goff. I think they wouldn't mind having him, you know, if he were available. But given the circumstances and how it all went down, you know, they're the defending champs. They do that trade. They do that trade 100 times.
Yeah.
You know, but,
I mean, it's like anything is worth it if you get one Super Bowl.
Right,
You sacrifice. Yeah. And they didn't expect to have such a down year. The Rams that we're talking now, they didn't expect to have a down year like they are right now.
But it's tough. You come off such a high. It's tough. You need everybody to stay. First of all, you lose people. You don't have Odell Beckham. You don't have Von Miller. You're losing guys, you know, for whatever reason. Guys go down with injury during the season. And it's just hard to play that well or be that consistent over the course of 2 seasons in a row to put yourself in a position to win Super Bowl, you know, twice. So, but yeah, they were expected to be more competitive, and it just didn't work out that way for them this year.
So, if Carolina wins out, they could go 8-9. They would go 8-9.
Right.
They would make the playoffs. That would mean that they beat Tampa head-to-head and that they won. So, assuming
and the Saints,
yeah. So, assuming if they win the last 3 games, they'll be in the playoffs. Probably as the number 7 seed in the East, but. outside of the Panthers, let's get off of them. Let's not talk about their football prospects right now. What do you think about how do you see the playoffs going? Who do you see getting to the Super Bowl from both sides?
Well, I mean, the Eagles, Jalen Hurts' shoulder injury notwithstanding, look like the best team, the most cohesive unit, the guys that are able to impose their will on either side of the ball the most. And, so in the NFC, it goes through Philly, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to have home field advantage. And then San Francisco, depending on how things fall for them, San Francisco is a tough team. They got a really good D, a lot of talented, skilled players, and a young quarterback who we don't know much about, but he's played well with the chances that he's gotten so far. And so right off the top of my head, I would say Philly and San Francisco are the teams that I expect to see toward
in the championship.
Yeah, probably. You never know, but yes, if those guys have home field advantage until they end up in Philly, I would say yes, San Francisco and Philly. Then in AFC, Buffalo and Kansas City,
head and shoulders.
Seem to be better than the other teams, and Buffalo may have an edge. I think their defense is a little better. And
they're missing Von Miller too, though.
They're missing Von Miller too.
Towards ACL.
They've been giving up some points and yards and so forth. But they're going to be a tough team in cold weather. If they have home field advantage as well, they're going to be a tough team to go. It's going to be hard to go to Buffalo and win a football game.
It is, yeah.
So, I'd give them the edge in the AFC. So I'd say Buffalo and Philly are the two teams I expected to see when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I'm thinking Buffalo and San Francisco still. So I know Philly's had a few close games this year. They still have Dallas coming up. That's going to be a big game. So I heard I was listening to Sports Talk the other day, and somebody posed a question. If you were starting a team right now, who would you take, Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts?
I take Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. He's an MVP candidate this year. He's responsible for, I think, 35 touchdowns. He's thrown like 20. I saw the stat this morning. I think he's thrown for 22 or 23 and run for 13. And that reminded me of Cam's stats going back to his. He was like 38, 39 total touchdowns.
Right.
The year he won the MVP.
And he idolized Cam, and so that's not surprising. And he's been a winner everywhere he's gone.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Alabama, Oklahoma.
I don't, I'm not surprised by his success. I'm surprised how much he's running the ball. Mm-hmm. I am surprised by that a little bit. Like, I knew he was a good athlete because every game he's rushing for 60, 70, 80 yards and at least a touchdown. Feels like it. And then he's getting it out to Brown and Smith, and he's orchestrating the offense really well. Mm-hmm. Those guys, Kelsey and those guys up front, are blocking their butts off, and he's got time. And when he's under pressure, he can escape the pressure and still deliver a good ball. So, it's all there. It's not rocket science.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not rocket science. You got a guy with a level head and all the physical tools, and you put him on a good team that's well coached.
And you have to coach. I think too, you have to coach to a player's strengths.
Yes, for sure.
So if you got a guy who, and I haven't not watched the Eagles much this year, so I haven't gotten to see Jalen Hurts in action that much. But when you have a guy who's a pocket passer, you got to have a good line that's going to protect. He's like a Tom Brady. Brady's got to get rid of the ball quick. That's what he does. You get like a Lamar Jackson, or you get a guy like Josh Allen. Who Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields are more running, though Lamar Jackson is a passer.
Right.
Fields hasn't come into his own quite yet.
No, not
a passer, but he's a 1,000-yard rusher this year.
Right.
And Josh Allen, and then I can't leave out Patrick Mahomes, who's probably the best player in the league, but Josh Allen is just incredible.
Well, because of the physicality that he brings.
Physicality, yeah. He's like, he runs like Cam. He's got the arm and the accuracy. That we didn't expect really coming out of college. He was like a 52, 53% completion guy in college.
Right, but you put him in a good system, and you got Diggs, and then you got Gabriel Davis.
He's done a lot of work as well.
He's worked hard. He's made himself into an MVP caliber player too. So, I don't know.
Herbert, that's another guy.
Yeah, Justin Herbert, he can sprint it.
Yeah.
If you go get a guy with a good head on his shoulders and the physical tools, then it's up to you as a coach to put him in a position to succeed, or you as your coaching staff to sort of figure out the best way to use him and let him use his natural talents. And some teams have done that, and some teams haven't.
Yeah.
You know, some people are still figuring it out. Some people, like the Panthers, are still looking for that guy.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, obviously we know Darnold's not the guy. All right, so real quick, I know we got to wrap up here pretty soon. The Hornets just got their 8th win of the season.
Right.
Still have the worst record in the NBA.
Yeah.
Melo is playing with some swagger right now, though. He's playing really well. Is there any chance that the Hornets get back into that top 10 play-in level this season? Do you see that at all, or are we just ready to go full tank mode?
You know, I mean, I think this year they would gladly take the worst record and the best chance at Victor Wembanyama. Yeah, seriously, honestly. I don't know. You can't count on Gordon Hayward. So
if we get Victor or something like that, is that going to keep LaMelo here?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think
we get that dude.
I think that would be one of the most formidable duos in the association.
Yeah.
As far as having a 7'4" do it all kind of, you know, generational talent, and an all-star point guard.
Also, a point guard is become one of the best passers, one of the overall best point guards.
He came in as one of the best passers.
He did, yeah.
He's improved his shot, his decision making. You know, he has to work on that too. And then finishing at the rim. But he's big. He's a big point guard with a lot of intangibles.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a lot of steals, all that kind of stuff. So LaMelo's good. You get Wembanyama, and you got something. You just got to fill in the pieces around, and make sure you got a coach that you like to lead the way.
Yeah. Well, Walls, hey man, everybody too. It's I've enjoyed. This has been fun, man. We've been talking about doing a show, creating some stuff together for years. And we've been doing this the past 10, 12 weeks or so. I think we got big things coming in 2023.
Keep it going.
Keep it going. Get it over on the podcast format as well. And we're going to talk about more stuff too, in addition to, we talk about sports a lot because that's a passion for both of us. But like today, we're out in downtown Matthews, North Carolina. We're looking out at the city, downtown area right now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we want to showcase more local businesses, but we also want to talk about different issues going on around Charlotte. We want to talk about, you mentioned public transportation before.
I think that's a
get into that.
Yeah. A growing city.
Yeah. Golf, we're both big into golf.
A lot of golf talk.
So we can talk about top golf courses and different places and things. So if anybody has any input on things you'd like to hear us talk about, definitely let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, then
we're here for it.
Yeah, and we'll see you in 2023.
Sounds good.
All right, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we'll see you next year.
Happy holidays.
All right.
Peace.